Hi, I'm Jackson, reporting for Kids First, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Luca Diaz, an actor most famous for his performances in Erin and Aaron, Transformers EarthSpark, and Migration. He's here today to talk a little about his role as Mike Wheeler in the new Stranger Things spinoff, Stranger Things Tales from '85, which is available now on Netflix. Thank you for joining me, Luca.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
As a huge fan of the original Stranger Things, I'm really excited about this series. What do you think sets Tales from '85 apart from the original show?
Okay, so basically, as you know, this takes place in between seasons 2 and 3, and so because of that, we're getting like an entirely new story. I've seen some things where people think it's either like a recreation of one of the seasons, but that is not what it is. This is an entirely new chapter of the party story, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Your character, Mike Wheeler, is such an iconic character in the Stranger Things world. What was it about that role that made you want to participate in this project?
Oh well, I mean, Uh, if it's honestly just because, first of all, it's Stranger Things,
Yeah.
huge like show. I've been loving that show for like 10 years. It's like it's such a cool show, and Mike, just the heart of the party. He's the glue that keeps everyone together, and it's such a cool role to play, especially when there's like conflict in the group. I feel like we really get to explore like how these different characters would react to different situations, and I think it's really cool to be able to act that out with also like the cast, which are so talented. So it's awesome.
Your voice really captures Mike's personality. How did you approach making the character feel authentic to creating Mike while also putting your own spin on him?
Ooh, okay, so basically, how I would do for like to match the voice almost is I would watch scene packs of Finn Wolfhard from season 2 of Stranger Things, and then just like kind of get in that headspace, and then also this show really focuses on his love for Elle,
Yeah.
and so I really just wanted to hone in on that and make sure that pretty much all I was doing was focusing on like what Mike think would be best for Elle.
In the show, Mike's relationship with the other characters drives a lot of the story. Which of those dynamics was the most fun for you to explore in the recording booth?
I mean, honestly, I feel like he definitely has the most screen time with Elle and Will, and I mean, rightfully so. That's his best friend and his girlfriend, and it's so cool. I would say with Elle especially because every time like something bad happens to Elle during a fight or something, I just get to I get to go like wild. Also, just there's a lot of scenes with Elle where I feel like Mike has a lot to learn for being a boyfriend and also just being like a good friend in general. And so I feel like 11 like gets to like teach him a lot in this show, and I feel like that shines through. It's really cool.
Yeah. The series introduces a new character, Nikki Baxter, who wasn't in the original show. How does Nikki change the group's dynamic?
The party originally has like no like way to fight back against this new big bad,
Yeah.
Nikki kind of helps out with that. She provides like all the tools that the party uses to fight back against these new monsters, and also she really helps Will kind of step into his own shoes. Yeah.
The animation style of this series has a look that definitely fits the 1980s setting well. Did you get to see much of the animation before you recorded the scenes?
Okay, so basically how we record it is we record all the dialogue first and then they animate over our voices. So but there are some times where we have to go back into the recording booth and like re-record some lines, whether it's like an animation issue or a direction issue. And because of that, I got to see like little snippets of like either storyboarding of the show or like the early animation, but I never really got to see anything like finalized until the show came out, and it looks so cool. I love it. It's awesome.
How did seeing those snippets like kind of shape your performance in as Mike?
Okay, so yeah, well, when you're doing the acting in the booth, you have like an idea of like what like his Mike's facial expression would be and stuff like that, like what he would be doing, like what kind of movements he's doing. And then you look at the animation and that could be like entirely different, and that might be why there's like a direction issue there. And so what it kind of does is it kind of makes you like rethink the context of the scene almost, because your character might be doing something different than you thought they were.
Voice acting requires you to create your character with just your voice. What was the biggest challenge of bringing Mike to life without being on screen?
Probably the screaming, honestly, because you really have to show like in some parts you have to show like actual like terror, and that can be hard to do without a facial expression. And I feel like for me, I didn't realize that like the animators especially would be helping out with that because they get to really like make that face like expressive and stuff. But for me, that was definitely the hardest part, and also because screaming it can put a strain on your voice. So in an episode where you're doing a lot of screaming, that can affect that. I mean, really, just the finale as a whole. It's so awesome. That whole final battle is so sick, and like they did. I'm like just amazed at how like the animators did. Like even with like the snowballs fight in at like episode 1, they have these like such like intricate action scenes, and it's so cool to watch. And I think the finale really just takes everything that the show has done so far and just cranks it up to 11. It's so cool. Oh, no pun intended.
All right, last question, and this one is just for fun. If you and the rest of the cast were stuck in the Upside Down together, who do you think would survive for the longest, and who do you think would be out first?
Who would survive the longest? Either Braxton, who plays Dustin, or Brooklyn, who plays Elle. Because Braxton, he plays like baseball, so he's probably fast, and he's physically fit. And then Brooklyn, she's a Stranger Things super fan, so she has all the knowledge to survive. And then as for who'd be out first, I would say EJ, who plays Lucas, because he hasn't seen the full show, I don't think.
Thank you, Luca, for speaking with me today. Be sure to look for Stranger Things Tales from 85, which is available now on Netflix. I'm Jackson, reporting for Kids First. Make sure to subscribe to the Kids First Film channel so you don't miss any of my reviews or those of my amazing teammates. See you next time.